This week on the Global Digest, and we're tracking the biggest shifts shaping our world right now. Let's get into it. First up, Gaza. A year into the war, the humanitarian crisis there is still spiraling. The World Health Organization says Gaza's hospitals are collapsing, thousands need evacuation, and aid is still trickling in far too slowly. Even with a ceasefire, power and water are barely functioning, and entire families are living off scraps. The war may have quieted, but its aftershocks are still destroying lives. It's a brutal reminder that modern wars don't end when the guns go silent. They leave long shadows. And right now, Gaza is living in that shadow. Across Africa, different kinds of pressure are building. In South Sudan, nearly two-thirds of children are trapped in child labor because of war and hunger. And in Ivory Coast, protests erupted over what voters called a rigged election. It's the same old mix: corruption, poverty, and climate disasters combining into instability. When fields flood and food spoils, desperation takes over. And when leaders cling to power, unrest spreads. The question now is whether these young democracies can break that cycle or whether we're watching another lost decade of development slip away. Meanwhile, nature is writing new headlines of its own. Iceland just found its first mosquitoes ever, and in India, the skies over Delhi turned toxic right after Diwali fireworks, with air quality hitting severe levels. These aren't random freak events. They're warning lights flashing from a planet running a fever. The Arctic is heating 4 times faster than the rest of the world, and pollution in megacities is choking millions every winter. The lesson here is simple: climate change isn't coming. It's already here, changing what can live where and how. But there's some good news hidden in the data. For the first time in years, North Atlantic right whales are showing signs of recovery. Scientists recorded 11 new calves this season and no adult deaths. After decades of near extinction, the population's finally ticking upward. It's proof that long-term conservation works. Speed limits for ships, new fishing gear rules, and relentless monitoring are paying off. The comeback is fragile, but it's real, and it's a reminder that nature rebounds when humans get out of the way long enough for it to breathe. Let's shift to technology, where progress is racing ahead, but so are the problems. A new study found that small, locally run AI models can be hacked or tricked into writing malicious code 95% of the time. That's a huge security hole in the rush to make AI tools run on personal devices. Meanwhile, Apple quietly moved assembly of its Vision Pro headset from China to Vietnam, part of a wider effort to reduce reliance on Beijing. And in Silicon Valley, Broadcom just laid off hundreds of workers days after announcing a new deal with OpenAI. It's a perfect snapshot of the moment we're in: innovation surging, supply chains shifting, jobs disappearing. The future of tech isn't just about smarter machines, it's about who controls them and who gets left behind. Those supply chain shifts are global. The United States and Australia just signed a critical minerals pact to loosen China's grip on rare earth metals, the stuff inside every phone, drone, and electric car. China still processes about 90% of the world's supply, so this partnership is a big geopolitical play. At the same time, Washington abruptly froze trade talks with Canada over a dispute sparked by a single campaign ad. That tells you how volatile trade politics have become. Allies today can be adversaries tomorrow, not because of economics, but because of ego. And that's making businesses rethink everything from sourcing to pricing. Political change is another big story. Japan just elected its first female prime minister, Sanae Takaichi, a conservative hardliner breaking through one of the toughest glass ceilings in Asia. In Africa, voters are rejecting long-standing rulers. In Europe, coalitions are fracturing over budgets, defense, and migration. It's part of a larger pattern. Citizens are tired of business as usual politics. Old parties are losing their grip and new movements are rewriting the rules. That creates opportunity and uncertainty. When leadership turns over this quickly, policies on trade, climate, or security can flip just as fast. And that unpredictability extends to the United States. In one week, Washington helped broker a ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia. then turned around and canceled all trade talks with Canada over a political spat. That whiplash diplomacy is reshaping how allies view the U.S. Some call it pragmatic deal making, others see chaos. Either way, it's clear that domestic politics now bleed directly into foreign policy. For global markets, that means volatility. For ordinary people, it means every election season comes with international consequences. Let's pivot to science and health. There's a breakthrough in the fight against high cholesterol. Researchers developed a DNA-based therapy that cuts bad cholesterol by nearly 50% with no statin side effects. It could be life-changing for millions if it clears trials and gets approved. At the same time, mental health data is sounding alarms. Cases of OCD among young people have tripled in a decade, driven by stress, social media, and uncertainty about the future. It's a reminder that progress in medicine doesn't always translate to progress in well being. Our bodies may be living longer, but our minds are working harder to keep up. And finally, amid all the turbulence, culture still holds people together. Sports victories, music releases, festivals, they may seem trivial, but they're powerful moments of unity in divided times. When Australians cheered their cricket win over England, or when millions streamed the latest concert tribute online, it wasn't just entertainment, it was relief, a reminder of shared joy in a heavy world. But these cultural highs sit next to deep divides over identity, migration, and inequality. In many countries, the fight over who belongs is now being played out as much in stadiums and social feeds as in parliaments. That's the emotional pulse of our era, celebration and strain happening at once. So, stepping back, and what's the big picture this week? We're watching a world in flux. Humanitarian crises still rage, but conservation is quietly working. AI and trade are rewriting economies, but politics keeps rewriting the rules. And while science breaks barriers, society struggles to hold itself together. The through line is adaptation. From Gaza to Tokyo to Silicon Valley, systems everywhere are straining, yet some are learning to bend instead of break. That's the story worth following. Thanks for listening to the Global Digest. Stay curious, stay grounded, and I'll see you next week.